Howdy folks, I hope you're all enjoying your weekend, and welcome back to Subnautica Below Zero, currently in early access, but I recently checked out the status of this game on Steam, and it has a release date listed as the 30th of January. So, around about 2 weeks to go and the game will be out in early access, so I thought, why don't I go and spoil it for myself, and see what's changed since the last time I played it. And which was quite some time ago. Back then it was in a clearly unfinished state. There have obviously been a lot of updates since then, and some of them are fairly substantial, some of them are fairly subtle. I started a fresh game from scratch, not really expecting there to be that much that had changed in the earlier stages of the story. Oh boy, was I ever wrong. It turns out that the game's scriptwriter has left the development team, he's gotten a job elsewhere, and a new writer has been brought in, and there have been some changes made here and there. One of them in particular comes as something of a surprise when it happens. Don't worry, I'm not going to spoil it, but you'll know it when you see it. For now, having survived the immediate destruction of the research base at the beginning of the game, and built myself a sea truck, and I did it properly, I didn't use any of the console cheats. It's time to start fabrication of my base. We'll start with the general purpose room, multi-purpose room, the basic HAB module. And let's get a foundation slapped underneath that. That's going to add some structural integrity, because the next thing I'm going to do is add a hatch, and that's going to weaken the structural integrity. Now, when I was deciding where I was going to put the base, as a veteran of the original Subnautica, I stuck the first module on the edge of an overhang, the idea being that I would extend over the edge of the overhang to build the moon pool. That way there would be plenty of space underneath the moon pool to dock and manoeuvre vehicles, but there is no moon pool in Below Zero. I didn't know this at the time, hence why I'm laying out the design of the base the way I am. In Below Zero you construct your sea truck from the mobile vehicle bay, and any vehicle upgrades are built using the sea truck fabrication module, because the sea truck is a modular system, so you can have all different kinds of modules attached to the back of the sea truck. One of those is the fabrication module, and that is what contains the vehicle upgrade console. So the sea truck basically produces its own upgrades. There's no need for a moon pool. Another welcome change in Below Zero is that you don't have to rely on solar power, because you get the plans for the bioreactor right from the start. That's why I'm constructing my initial base with 2 multi-purpose rooms. I'm going to put the bioreactor in the second one.
Warning, emergency power only. Oxygen production offline.
That should do nicely. Just make sure I've got the control console facing the doorway. Oh, missing the wiring kit and the lubricant. Not a problem, got some of those in the life pod. I'll just go and grab those, finish off the bioreactor, and then toss a couple of shrimps on the barbie. I came prepared.
Power restored. All primary systems online.
Now, as well as the usual suspects, the fabricator, the battery charger, the storage lockers, the modification station, this time around I also have a jukebox. And there it is. I've got no idea how it works. We also have jukebox speakers. Gonna need some copper. There we go. The thing I'm not short of is copper. So let's put the speaker up there. How does it... Oh, I suppose you just... Yeah, press play. How else did you expect a jukebox to work, Jingles? Well, I don't know. It's a space jukebox. Do I look like a rocket scientist to you? I wonder if I need the speaker there. No, I don't. So what's the speaker for? Hang on, let's try an experiment. Let's head to the bioreactor room. Oh yeah, the music does get quieter with distance. Alright, let's slap a speaker up in here. That'll do. Yeah! Bloody hell, it's loud. Now we have a jukebox. If I only have one tune... Yeah. So, undoubtedly there must be other music tracks available to be discovered throughout the game. Because that one tune's going to get old pretty quick. But for the moment at least, I kind of like it. Well anyway, moving along swiftly, I happen to know that I'm going to need a laser cutter. And the only place you can find the blueprints for the laser cutter are over here in the ice caves. Or specifically, in the tunnels underneath the ice caves. When you hit the glacier wall and you can't go any further, start looking for holes. And you'll find the tunnels where the sea monkeys like to make their nests. And it's in the sea monkey nests where you're going to find the laser cutter blueprints. This should do. There's one. But I'm not seeing any blueprints. Bugger, nothing here. Okay. There's usually more than one nest in each tunnel. Just not this tunnel. The sea monkeys are harmless, but they do like to steal whatever tool you happen to have in your hand at the time and then swim off and take it back to their nest. This is why you can find useful blueprints in the sea monkey nests. This looks good. Let's go for a swim. Some oxygen plants down here. So I should probably be able to stay down here indefinitely. Just checking that I have enough space on my inventory. Aha! Sea monkey nest. Oh, and there's something there. Yep, laser cutter fragment. That's what we're here for. Ta-da! New blueprint synthesized. Right, the reason I'm going to need the laser cutter... Actually, this is going to require a bit of explanation. So, the laser cutter, for those of you who haven't played the original Subnautica, the laser cutter is a tool that you use for getting through sealed doors. And I'm being chased by a crash fish. I hate those things. In earlier builds of Below Zero Early Access, after surviving the destruction of the original research base and ended up in the life pod, you were in pretty much constant communication with your sister Samantha in the Altair space station in orbit. That is not the case in this latest version, because the communications relay on the island where the cargo rocket launch pad is, the communications relay is broken. So before you can even get back in touch with your sister, like I said, there have been some changes to the story. Before you can even get back in touch with your sister, you have to fix that communications relay. And in order to do that, well, you don't have the parts for it. So you're going to have to...
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Okay, we're going to turn this off now. Right. In order to do that, you're going to have to scavenge some salvage from a shipwreck. And there's one relatively nearby, the cargo rocket island. The only problem is, it's crawling with things that like to chew on my ass. And those of you who know me well by now will not be surprised to hear that I don't like having my ass chewed by anybody who isn't Mrs. Jingles. So, anyway, laser cutter. What was I missing? Diamond. I've got diamond. I'm sure I've got diamond. Where's the other locker? There we go, diamond. I'll take the spare creepvine sample to make some fibre mesh. I've had a piece of creepvine sitting in my locker since forever. I just thought I'd get another one just to get rid of it. Right. Tools. What did I need? 2 diamond, a battery. I've got the crystalline sulfur. There's the battery. 1 more diamond. Slap it all in the fabricator. And Bob's your mother's brother. Right. Let's go investigate shipwreck. To find the crashed starship that you're going to need to salvage, you're going to have to head south of your life pod, in the direction, roughly, of the rocket island, which at this point in the game should be indicated by a waypoint, which you can see there, called Maintenance Request. We're not actually heading to the rocket island though, we're heading southeast of it, and you'll know, yeah, you'll know you're nearly there when you either see this geothermal activity or you hear the cries of the creatures that call this place home. Oh shit, there are a lot of them. And while they're not leviathans, they're easily big enough to take a bite out of a sea truck. I'm just going to hide in this geothermal vent. Oh, there's another one up there. Oh, no. Lights off. I don't want to attract their attention. Yeah, like I said, they're not... Oh, shit. They're not leviathans, but they're big enough. Oh, no. Oh, right, here we are. When you see these purple vents, you're close. There's another 2 of them up ahead. See if I can go under them without attracting their attention. Luckily it's daytime, so I don't need the lights to see where I'm going. The lights just attract attention. Aha! Here we go. 1 wrecked starship. There's a fair amount of useful stuff inside this wreck. No blueprints as far as I'm aware, but useful pieces of equipment like batteries, lots of batteries. And there are any number of different ways to get in. I think there are at least 4 entry points to the wreck. A lot of the stuff that's lying around inside the wreck waiting to be picked up, you won't actually need the laser cutter for. But you will need the laser cutter to get into the engine room. And you'll need the laser cutter to get the salvage that's inside the engine room that you're going to require to fix that communications array. Right, this should do. Park up here. Oh wait, no. Too tight for me to exit. There it is. Right. Here's a door I cut through earlier. There's all kinds of nooks and crannies and hidey holes inside this wreck. And most of them have some kind of loot in them. So by all means, oxygen supplies permitting, have yourself a good explore when you get in here. But the pay dirt is in this room. This is the engine room. You'll know it's the engine room because, well, it looks like an engine room, and also you will have to use the laser cutter to cut through at least 1 door to get in here. And when you're in here, this is what you're looking for. And it's very easy to miss. I must have swum past this thing 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8 times. Explored every different bit of this wreck before noticing the panel on the engine casing that had to be cut through with the laser cutter. And that is what you're here for. With the salvage in hand, head to the maintenance request waypoint on the rocket island and get yourself ready to fix that communications array and get back into contact with Sam up in orbit. Now, earlier on I mentioned that I was glad that I'd started a fresh playthrough right from the beginning because there had been some changes to the story. Not just the fact that you're not constantly in communications with Sam, and you have to actually fix the communication array before you can even get back in touch with your sister in orbit. That in itself, just having to craft the laser cutter and then get the salvage from the wrecked starship, has probably added a good 2 or 3 hours to the gameplay. But that's not all that's been added. In fact, even this early on, there's a fairly major plot development. In the original Subnautica, you were very much on your own, dealing with ancient alien technology and reading the logs of long-dead previous shipwreck survivors. In Subnautica Below Zero, you're not alone.
Are you sure I'm the kind of gal you want to be following?
I don't mean you any harm.
Then your position is doubly precarious.
Where are you going with that tablet?
I don't trust anyone who's too big to fight or too greedy to buy. I'll tear us both.
Wait!
Don't follow me.
I have to confess, when that happened, I may have shit myself just a little. Just a little. I mean, I'm not talking full-on trouser change requirement here or anything, but I may have just touched cloth a little bit. Anyway, let's get this fixed.
Vespa? This is Sector 0. Do you read? Sam, are you up there? I haven't seen any ships. I'm starting to get...
Robin! I read you. Are you okay?
I got set up in the life pod. I'm fine. What happened up there?
We lost comms in both launch bays. It's chaos, but nothing that can't be stitched back on.
What about Jeff?
The ship went off course, west towards the glacial basin.
He's still down here.
Finding him is not the priority. Our ships are all out of action, and we've got people stranded in other sectors. I need you to stay safe until we can send a rescue team.
I've done this before. I'll be okay.
I know you will. Rob, I have to go. I'll call back as soon as I can.
Roger that. I feel better knowing you're still up there, even if you are out of reach.
So this is the cargo rocket platform. Although I don't have anything to send up in the cargo rocket just yet. Of slightly more pressing concern, aside from the fact that I'm about to freeze to death unless I get myself into shelter, who the hell was the guy or girl in the prawn suit? Because that thing was not standard issue. They'd strapped all kinds of spiky, pointy bits onto it. It looks like whoever they were, they've been here for some time. Oh yes, dying of cold is a thing in Subnautica Below Zero too. Hence the title, Below Zero. If you don't have access to the cold suit, which comes in 3 parts, helmet, gloves and suit, and at the moment I don't, getting yourself into shelter is the only way to avoid freezing to death. Well, it isn't the only way to avoid freezing to death, but it's the most practical. Do you remember these things? These things can save your life in a pinch. These flowers collect solar power. I'm not quite sure how they do it inside a cave, but they collect solar power. Look, I didn't write the game, okay? I'll just play it. And they'll radiate it back to you, preventing you from freezing to death if you're caught in the open and one of these is nearby. So that's all well and good. But what I'd really like to know is who the hell was the crazy woman in the spiky prawn suit? Who is she? What is she doing here? And what's her problem with the Altera Corporation?
Robin, we're working on sending you a supply drop. Are you okay?
I've got things under control.
Good. We need to debrief. Before the storm, you said you spoke to one of them. One of the architects.
Yes, that would be Alan, the space Viking.
Meteor struck the facility somewhere. It shut down.
Why aren't you more disappointed?
It's further than we ever got.
You think it's still alive? Robin, I know I can't stop you chasing aliens, but keep me informed if anything else happens.
Don't worry. I'll follow the protocols.
I have to write this up. Stay safe.
Speaking of Alan, the space Viking AI who's taken up residence in my head, and yes, that really is his name.
You did not reveal me to your master.
She's my sister, not my master.
You do not trust your sister.
I risked my life to save you. When she finds out, I don't know what she'll do, but it won't be good for you. So, I am thrilled to meet you and I want to help you, but first, we need to get you out of my head.
You must transfer me to a superior storage medium.
How?
I may remember with sufficient external memory aids.
Such as what?
I can think more efficiently when we're not sharing your language processing unit.
Are you asking me to shut up?
That is another way of putting it.
Oh yes, sarcastic aliens. I knew I liked this game for a reason. Well, the mystery of who the crazy psycho in the spiky prawn suit is going to have to wait for another day, as is the rest of, well, not this video, but the rest of this playthrough. Coming up, we have all sorts of things to look forward to. Things like this. Things like this. And things like this. And I can't begin to tell you how happy I am that that one's dead. As far as I know. This and much more coming up in future episodes. I hope you've enjoyed this one. I hope you're all having a great weekend, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.